The White House is threatening mass firing should a government shutdown take place. Our Emily Wilkins is in D.C. with more on what we know. Hey, Emily.
Hey, Carl. Well, yeah, we learned now that the White House is going ahead and raising the stakes for Senate Democrats. They're debating whether to back a short-term stopgap or not. So last night, Office of Management and Budget sent out a memo to agencies saying that they should consider firing employees who would otherwise have merely been temporarily furloughed in a shutdown. Now, the last time there was a full government shutdown back in 2013, about 850,000 employees were furloughed. That's according to Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget.
I swear to God, Trump is like a toddler. He always throws a tantrum when things are not going his way.
Now, we don't know exactly how many employees could be fired if the OMB follows through. The OMB says the layoffs won't apply to agencies and programs that are in line with the president's priorities. So probably ICE, military, those things might not experience any of these firings. What the memo does make clear is that no mass layoffs will take place so long as Democrats vote to keep the government open.
The last government shutdown that we had was during the first Trump administration, and it lasted for 35 days. It started on December 22nd, 2018, and it ended on January 25th, 2019. I can't forget that because I was still in the military.
But in the meantime, the Supreme Court is clearing the way for Trump to continue major federal layoffs. Republicans need at least 7 Democrats to go with them. Guys, it's just not clear they have the votes at this point.
Now, here is what I don't understand. How can Trump blame it on the Democrats? I mean, Republicans control all 3 branches of the government. They have the majority in the House, in the Senate, and even in the Supreme Court, where conservative judges hold a 6-3 majority. Plus, Trump is their guy. So if there is a government shutdown, it's on them, people. It's on them. But you know what? Let me make a prediction. At the very last minute, both parties, Republicans and Democrats, will magically find a deal, and every side will take credit for it. Mark my words.
Just so you know, it's that time of year where both sides start to threaten that the government is going to shut down if the other side doesn't give in to their demands. But it's not going to shut down. And at the last hour, they're going to say, oh guys, don't worry, we cut a deal. And then both sides are going to try to take credit for that deal being cut. But in reality, they've already cut the deal. It's already done. They know exactly what's happening. But they're both going to play pretend to continue on the two-party politics and keep this nation divided. That deal that they've cut is actually sneaking in a bunch of money for all of their donors. And both sides do it. And then they say, oh, sorry, we had to do it to be able to cut a deal to avert a government shutdown. And what's crazy is their propaganda actually does work, because a lot of people believe that their side would never do them wrong when they would, and they do. Especially for those that are always like, eat the rich. Okay, well, just so you know, your politicians are rich, first of all, and second of all, giving the rich more money. But I just wanted to give you that warning because the propaganda is ramping up and people are starting to freak out, and there's nothing to freak out about because the government is going to run. Don't worry.
Okay, why are we even talking about a government shutdown? Well, let me tell you why. It's because Congress, whose job is to pass the budget necessary to run the federal government's operations, cannot agree on what they should spend the money on. Or, if you will, they can't agree on what not to spend the money on. It's one or the other, or both. Who knows? Now, let me put it this way, okay? Just imagine a household where the 2 parents are fighting over what to spend their paychecks on. And because they can't agree on anything, their children will not have any money for school lunch. They might also go to bed hungry, or they might even get evicted because the rent or the mortgage will not be paid. All this is only happening because both parents are fighting over every single penny. But in our case, both parents are the president and Congress, while the kids are all federal employees and agencies. So there you go, guys. That's what is really happening.
What would you do if your paycheck suddenly stopped? A government shutdown is when Congress cannot agree on a budget. If Congress cannot agree on a budget, then they're like put into overtime. They're on like an actual, sorry, it's football season. They're on like an actual timeout. So federal workers can actually miss paychecks because of this. This can cause delayed services for us. We've had shutdowns before, but right now life is expensive. Imagine missing a paycheck. And even if you don't work for the government, clearly emergencies happen and things are out of your control. Right now, we cannot control what the government does. We cannot control Congress. And just to put it into perspective, the longest government shutdown was 35 days from 2018 into 2019, and Donald Trump was the president. You know who's president now? Donald Trump. Back in 2019, they had disagreements about the wall. In 2025, there is a lot more that they're disagreeing about.